There comes a moment in life when you glance in the mirror and see a weight on your shoulders that you never signed up for. You know the one, the baggage of someone else's story, one that you didn't write, but now it's yours to carry. Deep down, a nagging question tickles your mind, as if it's been lurking there all along. Why does the simplest of tasks feel like pushing a boulder uphill while others seem to float through? You'll find that the journey back to the source often leads to your father, whether he was present or just a shadow on the wall. That's right. A dad isn't just a parental figure, he's the architect of your inner voice. This voice isn't just there for pep talks. It's there when you doubt your worth or second-guess every step you take. For some, it's cheerleading them to victory. For others, it's a relentless critic. For you, it may have muttered a few too many discouragements, making you shrink instead of rise. Hey everyone, welcome to Psychologist Jeep, the corner of the internet for overthinkers, quiet feelers, and those who grew up wondering why confidence feels like a foreign language. Here, we talk about the stuff you were never allowed to name out loud, including the truth most of us avoid. Sometimes you're not weak, you were shaped that way by the influence of your father. Maybe he mocked your feelings, dismissed your efforts, or made you believe strength meant silence. That kind of upbringing doesn't just disappear. It becomes the voice in your head you mistake for your own. But you're here now in a place where we peel back the layers of that old programming and rewrite the script together, one honest, awkward thought at a time. Before we dive deeper, take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and comment. Your story matters here. Welcome home. Ever wonder why you feel like a pretzel when the pressure's on? Spoiler alert, it's not because you're inherently timid. No, you've been groomed to breathe in a world filled with someone else's fears. Children are keen observers, soaking in how their parents handle life's curveballs. If your dad was all about silence, guess what? You learned to mute yourself. If he was angry, you likely tiptoed around emotions. It's all a recipe for a reality where your self-worth is up for renegotiation. Just think. If your father set the bar at impossible heights, you may have spent years in a hamster wheel, chasing acceptance but never quite crossing the finish line. And if he was ever absent or unpredictable, consistency became a foreign concept. Your psyche learned to brace for impact instead of joy. Numbness? That became your go-to disguise for strength. It's almost as if you were running a marathon with a backpack full of bricks on your back. These patterns don't make your father a villain, though. They make him human, just like the rest of us. But the flip side is alarming. You've crafted a defensive persona for battles that were never yours to face. That's why you might feel a little shaky right now, not because you lack strength, but because you've been operating in survival mode, every step a measure of fear rather than exploration. Growing up like that, you had to become a master at reading moods over understanding your own feelings. That's a tough gig. You learned to hold back storms instead of expressing yourself freely. Neuroscience suggests that this kind of emotional dodgeball impacts how our brains develop, especially around stress and decision-making. So if you're stuck in mud, it's not because you're not trying. It's because your system is hardwired to see danger lurking behind every door instead of opportunities waiting to be explored. So whether it's climbing the corporate ladder or simply making small talk, consider that the feelings of inadequacy aren't a sum of your life choices. You're like a superhero in disguise, just needing to learn how to unmask your true potential without the weight of someone else's legacy hanging over you. It's about reclaiming your narrative, taking off that emotional backpack, and finally recognizing, while that weight may have once defined you, it certainly doesn't have to anymore. Think about all the emotional gymnastics you performed trying to figure out someone else's emotional riddle. It felt like a wild game of charades where you weren't even given the cue cards. You learned to tuck away your true feelings, thinking if anyone sees the real you, it might as well be an expose. But guess what? That's not a sign of weakness. It's just your mind throwing up a protective shield. Aren't we all just walking around with our impenetrable armor? Now here's where the plot thickens. What kept you safe as a kid becomes the very chain that shackles you in adulthood. Emotional freeze, once your go-to survival tactic, is now what you label indecision. That self-doubt you carried around like a badge of humility? Yeah, it's more like an emotional anchor. You've learned to dodge conflict like it's a dodgeball game, and now you just call that preservation of peace. Isn't it funny how we dress up our old coping strategies with fancy names? Then there's the famous strength facade you wear like it's designer. The truth is, you learned to rely solely on yourself, too afraid to lean on anyone for help. As a result, expecting little became your new normal, masquerading as realism, and staying in your lane turned into embracing your personality. But pause for a moment. What if these weren't your choices at all? What if they were passed down like heirlooms from your childhood? Let's talk father figures for a second. Whether they were present or absent, they were the blueprint for how you see yourself. If your dad didn't champion your dreams, well, you're probably out there eyeing your own ambitions. If pride was a foreign language at home, then guess what? You're now dancing for validation instead of fulfillment. And let's not forget about the emotional suppression you inherited, like a dark cloud that you carry around on sunny days. There's a crucial point to make here. You don't have to keep living in the shadows of that story. A father's influence isn't all about lectures, but rather about the subtle ways he imprinted his energy on you. From his demeanor to his actions during tough times, those silent lessons become loud echoes in your soul. If he wrestled with his own demons, you might be loaded down with the emotional backpack he never unpacked. You've potentially grown up thinking silence is a virtue or that self-sacrifice equals love. It's like your own internal how to be tough manual is looping on repeat. The irony is that so much of what you were taught is the very thing that's crumbling beneath you now. Those internal battles no one sees, the endless replaying of conversations, it's exhausting, and it's okay to call it what it is, emotional conditioning. People tend to skirt around this topic because admitting that your formative years shaped invisible struggles feels too raw. The truth is, healing kicks off with a courageous dose of honesty. You didn't just wake up one day feeling this way. You were schooled in habits and fears by what surrounded you. When people toss around the advice to simply be confident, they have no clue you were raised in an arena where confidence felt like walking a tightrope over shark-infested waters. So let's just say embracing your true self may feel like jumping into the deep end, especially in a world that taught you to tiptoe around those emotional landmines. And yet, the only way out is through. Acknowledge those feelings and confusion because they are just parts of you trying to find their way back home. Maybe, just maybe, you can rewrite the script and discover a version of you that's free to thrive, unburdened by the expectations others laid down. Life has a funny way of surprising you, especially when it comes to the emotional baggage we inherit from our families. It's true, you might feel stuck in a loop of behaviors or beliefs passed down like a well-intentioned but clunky family heirloom. But hold up. Just because you've been conditioned to follow a certain emotional path doesn't mean you're doomed to keep walking it. It's time to grab your metaphorical scissors and start cutting away at those inherited patterns. Who says you can't create something fresh and new? Here's the kicker. The moment you start questioning these defaults is when the magic begins. That little voice inside you saying, maybe I'm not just a carbon copy of Dad, is like a superhero cape that suddenly appears. Recognizing these patterns means you've already taken a massive step your father might not have had the privilege to understand. Far from being a sign of weakness, this realization is evolution wearing a snazzy outfit. You're on the brink of rewriting your narrative, my friend. But let's not skip past the hard stuff. To truly morph into this new you, facing some uncomfortable truths is crucial. It's time to take off those rose-colored glasses and see your dad not just as a parent, but as a complicated human being. He's got fears, doubts, and experiences that shaped him. He may have carried burdens without a single word of explanation. Maybe he loved you in the best way he could, despite leaving you feeling a bit invisible. That understanding won't erase any pain, but it sure can illuminate a lot. And when you start to grasp these aspects of his life, you stop viewing yourself as broken and instead step into the realm of awareness. Freedom. That beautiful word means you can take control of your story rather than letting inherited struggles become your identity. Every bit of insight gives you the blueprint to reshape your life. Now that's the kind of growth we can all cheer for, right? Once you find that awareness, a different strength begins to blossom. This isn't about mirroring the strong guy image your dad projected. No, this is a whole new being rooted in self-awareness and authenticity. Your strength grows from understanding where you came from and, more importantly, admitting that you've been vulnerable. It's not about putting on a shield. It's about using that vulnerability as your superpower to come into your true self. Here's where things take a delightful twist. Seeing your dad as a flawed person shifts your perspective completely. You begin to recognize that the version of him you grew up with was just part of a puzzle. This was a man shaped by his own history and perhaps never given the tools to communicate properly. When you realize he might have confused seriousness with strength, it opens the door to empathy. It won't heal past wounds instantly, but it's like applying a salve that allows you to breathe a little easier. This newfound understanding is a game changer as it provides you the strength to challenge those inherited patterns. You'll catch yourself acting out of habit rather than genuine emotion, recognizing your inner critic as an echo, like a repetitive song that just won't stop playing. That awareness, it's your initiation into the realm of emotional maturity, an incredible journey marked by courage, growth, and perhaps the biggest plot twist of all, learning to speak kindly to yourself. Growing up is a wildly unexpected journey filled with lessons that usually have less to do with adulthood's practicalities, like paying bills, and more to do with unearthing your true self buried under childhood teachings. The process can be a bit like peeling an onion, layers of expectations, identity crises, and the occasional tear. You learn to question those emotional hand-me-downs, thinking, do I really need to hold on to this? It's a hilarious and often mind-boggling situation evolving from comfort zones, as you may realize they are more like invisible prisons. Those ingrained rules from childhood can feel as suffocating as a pair of too tight shoes. Keep your emotions bottled up, don't be burdensome, or stay the course are like a playlist you didn't sign up for. They may have shielded you from childhood chaos, but let's face it, functioning is not the same as living. It's as if you graduated from a prestigious academy of survival skills but forgot to enroll in the College of Authenticity. Your heart yearns for expression, and instead, it's been trained to adapt endlessly to someone else's expectations. Finding the courage to challenge these long-held beliefs is no small feat. It's akin to walking your childhood self into a screamingly bright spotlight while they clutch their comfort blanket. The initial reaction? A full-on panic attack. You may feel like a rebellious teenager screaming, "I'm done." But that's just part of the hilarity of growing up. The emotional barricades that protected you once can feel like chains keeping you locked in an outdated time capsule. Despite this, there's a raspy voice within urging you to dig deeper and confront these self-imposed limitations. But wait. Before you dive into the abyss of uncertainty, think about why you're avoiding those heart-to-heart conversations or dodging moments of vulnerability. You might realize you're acting like a human shield for everyone's emotions, juggling their feelings like a circus performer. Overthinking small decisions? Classic inherited self-defense. It's like you feel responsible for their emotional roller coasters while yours is stuck at the amusement park gate. No wonder you sometimes freeze in your own spotlight when you should be the star of the show. One day, however, like an unexpected plot twist in a sitcom, you wake up and realize the routine life you're leading isn't even yours. It's more like a musical number you've rehearsed without actually wanting to perform. You're maintaining someone else's script, exhausting yourself by playing a role meant for another. So, let's pause here for a moment, folks. When was the last time you asked this fiery question? Who would I be if I didn't tiptoe around my dad's expectations? Not the pacifying ideal, but the real dad who handed you those emotional rulebooks. As you ponder this, consider that maybe your biggest hurdle isn't your strength but your long-awaited permission to be yourself. News flash. You can grant that permission. The truth is, you can shake off the chains of your childhood environment. Does that sound audacious? Absolutely. It's about evolving past those inherited quirks, becoming someone who can heal what hasn't been addressed, and breaking the patterns that kept you stuck in the merry-go-round of survival instead of spinning into a parade of joyful existence. You hold the power to rewrite your story and escape from the emotional echoes of the past. Picture this. You can build a world within your heart that your dad may never have gotten to explore. You can understand that doing so isn't a betrayal, but rather an empowering expansion of growth. Why live in someone else's shadow when you can radiate your own light? So let's grab that pen and begin rewriting the chapters. The narrative is all yours, after all. You're not turning away from him by choosing to be more. You're actually paying tribute to the part of him that desired greater things but was too unsure to seize them. On some deep, metaphysical level, maybe that's what he envisioned for you all along. But don't expect this grand transformation to happen overnight with a stroke of luck or an epiphany fit for a movie. Nope. Real change is like a good cheese. It takes time to age and grow richer. It creeps in through small, ordinary moments, the kind that you wouldn't usually give a second thought to. It's in those soothing yet powerful pauses you take instead of shrinking back into your shell. It's when you muster up the courage to say something raw and real that you might have kept under wraps. It's asking for help without the pesky guilt slinking around your shoulders, or standing your ground with a firm calmness that almost feels otherworldly. Ever feel like you need a break but wind up loading yourself with guilt instead? Well, it's time to toss that feeling aside. Embrace those little waves of discomfort instead of running from them like they're the monster under your bed. Choose honesty over evasion, and permit yourself to forgive the wrinkled lessons from the past. These seemingly negligible moments, little acts of rebellion against your old self, will stack up like colorful building blocks, creating a brand new internal voice that echoes your true essence instead of your father's limitations. Over time, you'll unleash the authentic you, the one that craves adventure and isn't stymied by judgments. The version that wants to share thoughts without a script, to feel deeply without needing to say sorry, and to craft something profoundly meaningful instead of merely acceptable. It's about saying no more to pretending everything is hunky-dory and breaking free from the invisible chains of inherited expectations. Living with intention might sound like a daunting task, but it all begins with a liberating realization. Take a deep breath. You are not responsible for the emotional vacuum your father harbored. Your only duty is to choose wisely what to carry forward. Sure, his strengths shaped you, but don't forget about the weaknesses, fears, and insecurities that also played a role. Welcome to the wild world of self-awareness. This is the golden ticket for transformation, the first step into a new life where the past doesn't linger like an unwanted ghost. And guess what? Facing your past doesn't diminish your strength, it amplifies it. Real strength is peeling back the layers of your emotional onion, acknowledging patterns without piling on the self-judgment. It's holding a mirror to your father, recognizing his victim act alongside his heroic feats. And let's be real, embracing that unfamiliar journey, that's your telltale sign you're rising to become someone extraordinary. One day soon, you'll look back and grasp something striking. What you deemed weakness was, in actuality, the birth of your transformation. It wasn't a deficiency, but a signal urging you to seek more support, understanding, and security. This whole expedition, it's a quest for freedom, a breakaway from the echoes of a father who wasn't equipped to guide you the way you desperately needed. Create your own definition of strength, one that's grounded in compassion, honesty, awareness, and self-respect. Here's the kicker: you don't need anybody's stamp of approval. You can kickstart this journey right now with a deliberate choice. Your story is yours to write. Not a scripted saga molded by inherited patterns or burdens, but a script rich with your newfound strength that's just waiting to unfold. You may find, surprisingly, that what you believed to be weakness was, in fact, the very first step towards surpassing the generation before you. Your strength? Oh, it's just getting started.